Alright, how's it going, guys? Rushrum18 here, and today these are my impressions on the 4.3 patch notes. So we start with Riff 2.0. So pretty much what they've done with Riff 2.0 is that they've taken the live matchmaking aspect of it out of the game and replaced it with a PF-esque system of picking from a list of opponents. The map is smaller. It is only 6 fights total. And also they're going to be, all of the modifiers on the nodes are going to be changing every single week. And I like what they're doing. I like how Rift 2.0 is going to actually be looking. The streak system is really interesting for giving the offense player an actual advantage while playing. And then Revenge is also Revenge is also a pretty interesting idea. Just to be able to try to get your rating back. And then Accolades. Accolades is free stuff. This is free stuff for playing the game, which is always, he's really good. Deployments are especially going to be good for newer players who don't have a reliable way to grind the Master P Chapter 3 boss for XP. But for endgame players, I don't see deployments really being used for anything other than fodder. Because for leveling up, like, diamonds and stuff, 25k XP off of a tier 3 deployment is just nowhere near as good as 70 to 90k XP per fight from Chapter 3 Master P boss. Fire Catalog is a neat little addition to actually, like, keep track of what we have. And then for 4th of July stuff, main thing that's happening is that Revolutionary Relic is getting changed. Number 1 is being swapped out for Soul Sister, Dreadlocks for Persona Assistant, and then Furry Fury and Splitting Image are being added to the Relic pool. And then Fukuo's prize fight. Silver PF mod is relatively easy. Even if you get stunned, it shouldn't be too bad. And then Gold PF, pretty much just bring immunity and then you're set. And then Catalyst Relics got Rift coins added to them, as can be seen in this picture here. And their price is also put down to 50 Theonite for an individual one. The gifts. The common rewards are smaller in gifts, and they also do not have bronze and silver keys anymore, which is a bit of a bummer for newer players. For endgame players like myself who have stacks of hundreds of bronze and silver keys sitting around in their inventory, this doesn't really matter too much. And then defense team requirement changes. Once again, it's a little bit of a bummer for newer players who may not have the collection to support, especially like the gold character prize fights. Not necessarily as much for the elemental prize fights, since those are open to all tiers of character, or instead of requiring only silvers and up. Ads. So ads, I'm fine with how they're doing ads now. With like 5 per day, but you can watch them in rapid succession. And then also, you get 1 reward, but you can get a minimum of 3 KCC. And then you can also get a bronze fighter relic. Oh yeah. Now for the real juicy stuff other than Riff 2.0 is the balance adjustments that they've made to the game. So number 1, he was changed to get haste for longer, and when he activates hype mode, this is far better than getting the haste on opponent tagging. Way better. Every time. It's under your control, and you get the haste for longer. And then Freedom Fighter, he got a straight buff. He now gets his SA2 stun and disable blockbusters when he is blocking a blockbuster or special move instead of just a blockbuster. Ultimately, though, it's still pretty easy to play around. So I wouldn't actually say that this makes him a huge contender in the defensive metagame now. Well, just because he can get his SA for blocking a special move. Epic Sax, he got a huge buff. He caps at 200% damage bonus instead of 50%. It's pretty obvious why this is good. Robocop, he has now been reworked to where the armor part of his old SA is now worked into a self-res. And then his old SA is just enrages. But it's 30 seconds of enrage instead of 10 seconds. And so yeah, Robocop is not looking too bad. He'll of course need some testing to really see how good he is. But my first impression is that he's not looking too bad. Megasonic, he got a buff. He gets thorns alongside his enrage when he blocks, and the duration of both of the buffs are 10 seconds. So I like this buff way more offensively, and that's just because you get enraged for 10 seconds. The thorns are kind of just there. And it's easy to play around this, to not give him thorns ever. Gray Matter is actually really interesting. You know? The old SA that she's had ever since launch is pretty much just you start the match with more meter, and that's all I do. But now, she does that, but she can also give them additional meter whenever any of the teammates fall below 25% and she is alive. That character gets 50% meter. Now, this is mainly going to be more of a factor in the higher streak prize fights, and maybe in Rifts as well. Not really in the lower streak prize fights. And then Doublegum, she got slightly nerfed. The SA no longer procs on blocked hits. Now, Mummy got a big buff. She only damages herself when she uses a special move, instead of damaging her whole team. And this is huge for her viability as a character, because you can safely bring her, mainly because you can safely bring her into Team Riff fights and not have to worry about her being a detriment to the team. And then Feline Lucky, she got one little change. A change from 2% chance on crit to get the buffs to 2% chance when either fighter crits to get her buffs for less time. But this will make her a bit interesting on defense, since the minimum crit rate you can have is 5%. And then Blood Drive is a lot better because she gets to remove her bleeds when she uses a Blockbuster. She removes her bleeds and replaces them with Enrages, so she won't be killing herself as much by using her SA. Meow, she now just gets everything while she's far away, instead of having conditions such as, oh, head drones do the extra damage when she's far away, and she is invincible when she's hit while far away. Now she just does extra damage when she's far away, and she becomes invincible when she's far away after 3 seconds. And then Blue Bomber. Blue Bomber got a nice little buff, extended armor break duration, and regaining 25% HP when she gets the BB3. And then MAs, Chaos got nerfed from 1020 level 1 and max to 20 to 5 and 15. And then her Double's other MA got buffed from 30 level 1, 20 level 11 to 20 level 1, 10 level 11. And so, Chaos getting nerfed. Chaos is still going to be strong, it's just going to require the max investment for it to be strong. And then Volatility is going to be just stronger, more annoying to deal with, just more buffs. And also my Volatility Jawbreaker is going to get to do some more work, just because she's getting the Volatility buffs more often. Leech got buffed from 515 to 1535. This is mainly going to be good for like the Enraged Philias that focus on doing raw damage with their SAs rather than just bleeding, in like the way Class Cutter and BHG and Parasite Weave like to do. And then both of the Parasol MAs got changed. Crit Thinking got buffed from 5 level 1, 15 level 11 bonus to crit rate per tier to 15 level 1, 25 level 11 bonus to crit rate per active tier. And then Crit Mass got nerfed from 20 level 1, 40 level 11 bonus to crit damage per tier to 10 level 1, 20 level 11 bonus to crit damage per tier. Now, this is just an initial opinion, but in my opinion, I still think crit mass is the better MA in more situations, specifically because with Crit Thinking, you are completely reliant on having tiers on board for your crit rate buff. Whereas with Crit Mass, while you are still reliant on having tiers on board, well, I'll put it like this. There are more convenient ways to actually give your paras crit rate compared to crit thinking, such as building crit rate on them, or even just having sheltered support giving them extra crit rate. Crit mass is more unique, though, because there isn't really a lot of units in the game that are buffing your crit damage. And that's like Deathmark is not the most common thing in the world either. And then also Frost Armor got nerfed from 10 level 1 from 10, 15, 20 for 3/13 seconds to 5, 10, 15 for 2/12 seconds. It's nice to see, pretty much it's just nice to see one of the most dominant catalysts over the past year get hit. Even if, like, now personally the proc chance nerf is going to be more impactful than the duration nerf, because the duration nerf is 1 second, which is not a whole lot of time. And then the PvP, they're fixing the netcode. And then they're also fixing some bugs, but they're fixing the netcode. That is huge, that they're actually giving the netcode attention. And then after that, we have some bug fixes. Now, out of all of these bug fixes, the biggest ones that are the most relevant ones are Fukua bug fixes. Because specifically, there was fixed an issue where Fukua's non-command grab BBs were not kicking Eliza out of segment mode, and fixed an issue where Goodnight Kiss and Best Friends Forever were not functioning correctly versus unflinching opponents. Those were probably the two most notable character bug fixes in the entire update. And then these are the rest of the miscellaneous little fixes in the thing. And yeah, that'll do it for my impressions of 4.3 patch notes. I'm liking where this update is going. And thank you all very much.